Where am I? Oh!
X, you've come too. This place is no new hope.
But what about Zero?
Take it slowly, X. I don't know what happened. You've taken some serious damage. This is the Resistance hideout. You can rest here.
Chapter 2, Recapture Central Tower. Did I mention how great the voice acting in this game is? Oh man, I swear. If someone asks me for a Jill sandwich, I'm hanging up my Mega Buster right there. That's it. Done. No more LP. Anywho, what's going on everybody? MetalBlade427 here, and I present to you Let's Play Megaman X Command Missions. In the last episode, we finished Chapter 1 going through the Legrano ruins, met up with Epsilon and his new band of cronies, and tried to take them on. Unfortunately, Shadow, the one guy that was with us from the beginning, immediately betrayed us at the end of Chapter 1, and gave Zero a shoulder cannon to the face. Zero is gone. I don't know where he is. I wish I knew where he was. It'd be nice to have him around again. But X decided to make an escape by blowing a hole through the floor and ended up here. Which doesn't make any sense, because when you actually see the world map, you'll see that where we are now is nowhere near in relation to where we were at the Legrano ruins. So I don't know how we got here. Where are we actually? We are at the bottom floor of the Central Tower. And basically this is, what's going on here is there is a battle between the Resistance and the Rebellion going on. And X, being part of the government Maverick Hunters, is doing anything he can in order to stop the Rebellion forces. So we're going to run around and see what we can do to help the Resistance, maybe gain some allies and some information about possibly where Zero is. To do that, you're going to ask people what to do and go up the tower. But before we do that, we're going to come over here and talk to this chick. She doesn't really have anything important to say, but she does sell items. You can go in here and be able to buy the vaccine program, an anti-lock, a cure one, a reboot, and a new item called a Mega Fire, which is a fire attribute. This is the first of the elemental attributes that we've seen. This is neither S-type nor C-type. This is fire attribute and will do 500 points of damage to an attacker, pending whatever their elemental resistance is. And I'm going to go over that now because it's something fairly quickly that I can go over, and I can use X's stats as an example. So as you can see, X is fire, water, and thunder resistance, 100% damage on each. These work as a form of rock, paper, scissors. Fire will beat thunder, thunder will beat water, water will beat fire. You can gain and lower elemental resistance depending on what you put on the character as you go through the game. It can get as high as a 200% damage influx, which means that 500 point fire damage would then do 1,000 points of damage. And then it would just adjust from there. If you had 150% damage, it would do 750 damage to you. 100 damage is the full 500. Then you can be resistant to it by only having it do 50% damage to use to do 250 total damage for the attack. 25% to give you 125 damage. There's a null in which it'll do absolutely 0 damage, and absorb in which you will take the damage that you were supposed to get and turn it into healing. And there's various, it pretty much goes up and down in scales of 25. Whenever you see attribute +1, that means 25%. So it would mean if I have, say, Thunder Guard on X, it would say Thunder Guard +1 attribute to Thunder, which means it would be at 75% damage, and he would only take 75% of whatever the total Thunder damage would be. Plus, the game also has the random numbering that it does with it too, so it doesn't always work out so well, but it's always good to have the resistance if you need it. Now, this guy that rescued us, the Interception Squad Leader. As I said before, this is New Hope. People call it a city, but it's more like a group of interlinked buildings. We, the Resistance, are doing our best to chip away at the Rebellion. Back when we had our leader, Chief R, and his aide, Aile, we were much more well organized. We fought the Rebellion well. And that's it. So he told us about Chief R and Aile, two characters that will be coming into play in a little bit in this actual particular chapter. But before we go into that, we are going to be meeting new enemies. First, we have a very unique enemy that you would like to try to run into as early as you can in this game, because it's going to help. This is a Zeni Dropper. 280 HP will give you 16 Zeni. Will give you 16 experience, will give you 200 Zeni to start with. Now, I'll explain that in a minute. And 36 Force Metal Energy. You can seal a boost speed. He has a 3% chance of dropping the Get Zeni Plus sub-weapon, which is very useful if you want to try to earn Zeni. His abilities are Observe, which he actually just used right there. He will only use that once per battle and skip his turn. And he will also do a normal 3 hits S-type attack that will hit everybody. What makes the Zeni Dropper unique is that after a turn or so, you will actually see a message that pops up that says double Zeni, which means then instead of him dropping 200, he will drop 400. And then so on and so forth. So you get 200, 400, 800, 1600. You would think that you would just sit there and just let him keep skipping turns so you keep going up the Zeni. But he has a very high evasion stat and a very high chance of running away. So my advice is just take him down as fast as you can and hopes to get the Zeni like that right there. Now, X has a pretty good, shot when it comes to... Oh, I got the plus Zeni! Sweet! Alright, so we're going to put that on X right now. That's awesome. I was doing a practice run of this a while ago, and I kept running into those guys, and I defeated a few of them, did not get a Zeni Plus. Well, guess what's going on now? Zeni Plus. See, you're going to hit somebody with this, and now their Zeni total that they drop will increase by 10%. So that is going to be something that I will be using on almost everybody that I come across. Down there is a locked door that's going to come into play much, much later in the game, aka post-game. And I'm just very excited to get that sub-weapon because it's nice to have it this early in the game. Okay, let's get some more blues, a vaccine program, and another build ability. And we can go up into here. Now, as you run around, you're going to talk to some people. If you saw that one guy down there by that door, he's pretty much going to tell you that it's locked into construction. These people don't really tell you much else either. They're pretty much like, oh, there's stuff going on. There's the resistance. There's the rebellion. We don't know what's going on. We're just robots. Yada, yada, yada. So, as X, we're just going to move forward and continue moving up throughout the building. This would have been a great way to get a nice shortcut, but this, of course, is under construction because nothing can be easy. You have to take the long way around places, or else it just wouldn't be an RPG unless they wanted you to go run around doing a fetch quest and here, there, and everywhere, which isn't really a fetch quest. It's more of take the long way first so you can actually have a chance of running into more things and to guarantee yourself getting into various cutscenes. No, I'm alright. I don't need this yellow. But if you need the subject energy... it gives you 100. Wow, that was a lot for that one. I wonder what they expect me to run into between there and here. There's not really much. I mean, besides the Zeni Dropper, there's one other new enemy, and then a few enemies that you'll run into from the Langraro ruins, like the puppies, those patrol dogs and everything. Otherwise, there's really nothing that dangerous this part in the map. A little bit later, yeah, but not now. I don't know, whatever.
X, can you hear me?
Colonel, I have some bad news. Shadow betrayed us.
What?
The mission plans were leaked. They got Zero.
X, are you okay?
Colonel Redips? Shoot, I can't get a clear signal in here.
Federation agents have illegally entered Giga City space. Repeat, illegal entry. Report any sightings of suspicious Reploids immediately.
So I'm not 100% sure exactly who decided to give that order. Pretty sure it's the Rebellion, because they're the ones that control the tower right now. But being that we are from the government, we are now wanted criminals, so anybody at any time can turn you in. But that's not going to happen, because you can run around and talk to everybody. You can run around them, and you can talk to them, and whatever, and they just don't care. Even this little dog that we run into, these patrol dogs, he just barks at you, and that's it. Down this way would be where the marketplace is, but we can't get to it right now because it's blocked off, if you saw from the red door there. So we're going to have to come back to that a little bit later. We will come back to it. There will be stuff for you to buy. Save point right there if you need it. But for right now, we're just going to be picking up stuff that we get along the run, like that Zeni Plus weapon. So happy I got that. And yeah, now I'm going to introduce this. This is a figure vending machine in which requires 2 treasure tokens to use. The treasure tokens are the purple coins that you see in the upper left corner. The only way to find these is a unique feature to the GameCube in which you're able to connect your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube, and it will give you a radar on it that will be able to hunt down these special tokens. You can't find them without it. They will only appear with the Game Boy. I do not have this set up, thus I will not be able to do this feature. So unfortunately, as far as collecting these figures go and going through these particular series, I will not be getting any of them. And really, the only thing that those things do are pretty much equivalent to the trophies that you get in Super Smash Bros. They're for your own personal enjoyment to look at and to observe and to collect and for you to kind of build up in your own personal collection. They have no bearing whatsoever on the story itself, and otherwise it's just for your own enjoyment to collect, just to make the game longer. What are you doing in the corner, ma'am? Hello? Facility Management Assistant. I accepted the job of guarding this area, but I'm scared stiff. I've been hearing noises from the outside, but I don't dare venture out there. Please keep this secret from the rest of the Resistance. Yeah, sure, you just keep hiding in the corner. You have short hair and everything. I don't know. Whoops. Alright, moving along. I don't know where I was going with that short hair. Whatever, doesn't matter. I thought it was a guy the first time I played this game and ran up to it and thought he was peeing in the corner for some reason, but it's a girl, because you can tell because she had boobs because they're white around her chest. These are just observations I make as I get older, so sue me. Whatever. Let's go see what that noise is.
Hold it. You're X, aren't you? I heard about you on the news. Sorry, but I had to report you.
You're with the rebellion forces?
I'm not a supporter of Epsilon. But shouldn't you, as a Reploid, support the idea of our independence?
Huh? Who are you?
Trust me, I didn't do that for you. I'm neither Maverick nor Rebellion. But if I brought your head to the Rebellion army, it would fetch a pretty penny.
A bounty hunter.
Well done, chump. That's quite a grasp of the obvious you've got there. Now let's rumble! I'm Spider. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Here we go against a mini-boss inside of Chapter 2 against Spider. He has 1800 LE. We do not get any experience, any Zeni, or any Force Metal energy from him because once we do the 1800 damage, this battle automatically ends. Therefore, we cannot steal, and he does not drop anything. And my Get Zeni Plus weapon that I got that I'm so excited to use, I am not able to use on him because he gives me nothing. He is, however, Thunder Elemental, so fire attacks will do 150% the damage against him. Water's normal, and he only takes 75% damage from Thunder. His attacks are pretty basic. He has a Strike, which is a one-hit S-type attack, Rush, which is a 2-hit S-type attack. All these are single targets. Tricard, which is a 3-hit S-type attack on a single target that will hit you with Fire, Water, then Thunder technique, so all 3 elements. 4-card Penalty, which reduces all 4 of Megaman's stats. And Straight Flush, which is a 3-hit S-type combo that would hit everybody on the field, but I'm the only one there. As you can see, his first move, he put up Counter Barrier, or Counter Card, which gives you him an S-type barrier, meaning he will take reduced damage and counter any S-type attacks. It can be cancelled with C-type attacks, though, which is really what we would use X-Fire for, but because he did it in the first round, we really aren't going to do anything about it. And if you hit him with an S-type attack, his counter will be any one of his other techniques. So I'm just going to guard for right now, and apparently I'm just going to guard again, because when you guard, your speed kind of goes up.
How's that?
Alright, take a little less damage from that. Good, so now the counter barrier is down. So let's shoot a fire missile, and let's shoot the buster. Boom, boom. I never mentioned before, but also if you look at X's buster, it actually has changed shape from the last one that we had. Because the last one that we gave him was the guard buster. So it looks much different than the regular X buster that we had before. Alright, I've had enough of this. We're going to go right into hyper mode now. we're going to put on the X-Fire because
goes
all of
nothing.
X's techniques are C-type except for the sub-weapons. So even if he throws up the counter card, it doesn't really matter. Thing you should know about hyper modes as well. If you manage to finish the battle while in hyper mode, it does not account against your number. So I can be in hyper mode for 6 turns. If I beat Spider here in this one attack, then it will not reduce the number. So let's just hope that I can beat him with this Charge Collider. Let's do it. 94%. Hopefully. Here we go.
Go down!
Maybe. Possibly. Yes. Yes.
Drat. I was ready to finish you off. We'll pick this up later. The more you run, the higher the bounty.
Wait!
What do you mean the more I run? You ran away. And what was that like sound? It just sounded like the warning signal from the beginning of the battle. It was nothing that we haven't heard before. And then where did you go? We're on this like really cool like, top here that has a nice view looking out over absolutely nothing. Very Skyward Sword, Skies of Arcadia-like, where you can kind of see some stuff, but not really. And then, what? Huh? Ow, 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 ow. That thug got me good. But don't worry about me. You're welcome to rest here for a bit. On the other hand, shouldn't you be running away? I mean, that's all nice and good and all, but who are you? Where did you come from? And what happened to that guy with the grin? I mean, I saw Spider hit him with like one card and he exploded like completely on impact. And you got hit and you're just sitting here in pain? Next to, I guess these are recycling things? Isn't that bad for a robot to be next to recycling with metal and such? Oh, whatever. Alright, moving along. We're gonna follow the bum's advice and just kind of run forward into the next area. Here we have another type of vending machine. This one's a password style one. I don't know where in the game you would actually find the passwords that you would use in order to get the figures from this, but I'm going to go over this later because the figures that you get from it will also reveal characters that we haven't met in the game yet. So I'd like to actually do that after we met everybody and you can actually see what the figures look like and all the other good stuff. Otherwise, Dad, why don't we start taking stuff? We get a power charge, which is the exact same, I should say, type of weapon that X has when he goes into, X-Fire mode. Next attack calculated at 1.5 power, but if you do the power charge and then guard, and then wait for your next turn, you can then stack it again for times 2 power. I saw that there is a yellow sub-tank there, so why don't I actually heal myself up and take that. 50, very nice. And 100 Zeni. Moving right along through Central Tower, seeing what else we can find as we go up the tower. Yeah, there's lots of interesting people that we'll run into along the way, like this guy. Actually, he's not interesting at all. He's just the other end of that area that we should have been able to run through from the beginning, but of course the game is all like, no, it can't be that easy. But I've went over that before, I believe. Here we go, running around down the hallway to the next thing on our list.
You are the Maverick Hunter X, are you not? I am Aile. I am a member of the Resistance.
Okay, Aile, what's going on around here?
Well, if you have made it this far, then you've probably already figured out that the leader of our resistance, Chief R, has been caught by the Rebellion Army.
So, you've come to rescue Chief R?
Yes. That's why I came to the Governor's Precinct. But alone, I will not stand a chance.
Well, I'm here on a reconnaissance mission. Rescuing Chief R might be the best way to get the information I'm after.
Thank you, X. Well then, if you're going to help me... You had better take this ID. With it, you will be able to enter and exit the Governor's Precinct.
Aile, wait!
There is no time! Leave them to me! Just go!
Aile, look at the condition you're in!
Please! You have to help Chief R!
Aile!
I will not let you pass!
Aile.
Okay, I have some major issues with that scene that we just saw. First off, the item that we got from Aile, his ID, in order to get us into the government precinct, is, at least in my opinion, his heart. If anything, a part of his body. When he ripped it off to us, ripped it off of himself to give to us, my only question is why? There was nothing there that proved a danger for the two of us. X could have been like, yeah, let's just go together. We can take these guys, no problem. I mean, yeah, Aile was in that flying ship thing, which I guess may be equivalent to a wheelchair in robot form. But for all we know, he could have just had the bottom half of his body replaced by that hover car. He wanted to be, Professor X Aile or something. I don't know. There's no background in why Aile looks that way or why he gave us his heart for no reason whatsoever. Furthermore, after he ripped it off him and proved gave himself that much damage, that's when the door opened to reveal 3 Praeon Chasers, which X could have beaten, no problem, anytime. And then Aile does his whole Gandalf thing, kicks us out, you shall not pass, and whatnot, and then blows himself up. A self-sacrifice that means nothing. And we as the player are supposed to feel something for this character? This could have been written in so many different ways. We could have actually gotten Aile as a party member. Nope, he's dead. He blows himself up. Now you must avenge your friend. We have to avenge him. Even though we just met him and only knew him as name beforehand. But I guess now it gives X a set goal now to go find Chief R. Wherever it is that he may be held. So, I don't know. I just have problems with that scene. It just doesn't make any sense. Anywho, as you can see here, we're coming up against a brand new enemy. You recognize the wild rescue dog. The other guy is the Einhammer. And I say it like that way because Ein is 1 in German. He has 1,200 HP. He will give us 34 experience, 40 Zeni, and 10 force metal energy. We could steal a boost power off of him. He will also have a chance of dropping the Power 1 or a Build Shield. Keep that in mind because now you're actually able to start farming guys that give you builds. So any ones that you find, you can always try to come back and attempt for these things to drop it. So this way you can start building up stats on certain characters. He has a normal attack, which is a C-type single attack that you saw him do in the beginning of the round. But as soon as we kill the dog right next to him, he will do a move called Break Shield, which means his shield will reduce to 0, but all that will go into power, thus increasing his strength against us. And then he will no longer do a normal attack, he will do the double iron attack, which is a 2-hit C-type attack that is single and will ignore the armor status. Unfortunately, the best way to kill this guy is to go after the dog first, because the dog will just keep healing him, and then you'll just be whittled away by his single attack. So let's throw the Zeni. Whee! All the Zeni flying up out of him. Fire missile and a buster. This is going to take a little while to do, because now I've reduced myself from 2 sub-weapons to only 1, because the other one is the Zeni Blast. And I need to kill this guy quickly. Oh man, really? Oh jeez. He's going to hit me. This is the only problem with this early in the game, is because it's only X, these battles could take a long time to get through. I just die, thank you. He's gonna take his turn in order to do the shield break, which is fine. That's fine, that's good, now it should be my turn. Let me actually shoot the Zeni Plus at him. I'm gonna hit him with my buster. And then on the next turn, I'm just going to jump right into X-Fire and hit him with my Charge Collider.
Here goes
I don't know if you saw that because I went kind of quickly, but as you saw, my hyper mode was back at 6. If you end up using your hyper mode during the actual game and it lowers the number, the way that you can use in order to recharge it is simply by just getting in the battles. The more battles you get into, the more the hyper mode will charge up, and everyone does have a max amount of hyper modes that their character can go into. I also remember talking in the last episode about sparing the builds in order to save them for different items to make later on. There is nothing that you need to make with an item called Build Hyper. And there's also only 12 of them in the game. So once you get a Build Hyper, feel free to use it, because you're not going to get many, and they are very helpful, especially if characters that have very little amount of hyper modes can stay in it longer. Now then, two things just happened here. One, you saw a preemptive attack, which you know by X teleporting into battle, which is a really cool animation. Two, we have new enemies, Zeni Droppers. 200 HP, they will give you LE. 15 experience, they will give you 18 Zeni. Drop 6 Force Metal. You can steal a vaccine program. They can drop a vaccine program or the virus protection, which is a Force Metal that protects against the virus status, aka poison. They have a normal attack, which is a 3-hit S-type combo that hits all, or they use the bomb that they're carrying called the Toxic Bomb, which does 200 damage, is fire elemental, and will inflict poison on a single target. Major note about these guys is that they weren't always called Sign Droppers, they were also called Sign Fallers, and appeared in Mega Man X1. So we have another enemy from the Mega Man X universe that has appeared in command missions in a different form. So we can take these guys out nice and quickly, because the Buster is strong enough and they're weak along that ways. Plus I'm using my Zeni Dropper all the time in order to get as much Zeni as possible, because I like Zeni. Zeni's a little difficult to get a little earlier in the game, but once you hit a specific point, there'll be a very easy way to get virtually all the Zeni you're ever going to need. And when I hit that point, of course, I will talk about it. But just don't worry for right now. There'll be other ways to get Zeni later. But for right now, whoops, in the early part of the game, I should have used a higher tank energy. Oh well. Just try to do what you can to collect any and all Zeni that comes your way. So apparently from what I've read, one of the main differences between the PlayStation 2 version of this game and the GameCube version are the enemy encounters. Apparently in the GameCube, you will have a much higher enemy encounter rate than you would in the PlayStation 2. And I am very inclined to believe that stat based off of just walking a few feet and then getting into a battle for no reason at all. And there's still one character that I want to find in order to show you guys, but I haven't run into him yet. I digress. I use the Z button on the control pad in order to pull out the map in the bottom corner, as you can see, and it kind of gives you a better overview of what the map looks like. I haven't really gone over the map, but I'm not going to right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this save point and I'm going to save up. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to call it ends here. In the next one, we're going to continue going up Central Tower. We're going to continue seeing what we can do to help the Resistance against the Rebellion to find Chief R. It's a lot of R's to run into there. And then pretty much do what we can in order to defeat any Reploid Mavericks that happen to be in charge here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and let's try that again. Rate, comment, subscribe as I ask you to do in almost every YouTube episode. I thank you guys for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And until that time, guys, you all have a good one. I will catch you all later.